In the black mud, a golden boot crushes Lucius's jaw. Bone fragments spray into the filth. Enamel splinters. Red lightning sears his tongue. The system detects a vocal violation. High-frequency static screams from his throat. He chokes on the smell of his own scorched meat. Through the slime, he crawls. Shivering racks his broken frame. He reaches for a discarded crust of bread. A heavy heel slams down. It pins his hand to the cobblestones. Bones grind. Cain looks down. Emerald hex code swirls in his eyes. He does not speak. He does not need to. The god is now a rat. 6 hours earlier, the world smelled of incense and lies. Lucius stands on the altar of the sun. 40 pounds of solid gold weigh down his shoulders. The metal shines. Thousands gathered below shield their eyes from the glare. Behind his back, 12 mirrors float in the air. These lenses track his every movement. They ensure his cape falls in perfect static waves. Below the altar, the air thin and freezing. Cain kneels in the dirt. His lungs burn. The elite heroes breathe refined manna. The workers breathe nothing. Cain's fingers bleed. He taps a jagged iron slate. Long ago, the system burned his pupils away. Now, he sees only logic. He is patching a hole in reality. A rift in the floor threatens the temple. Lucius ignores the danger. He raises a glowing sword. The crowd roars. The sound vibrates the stone. Lucius claims the victory. He calls it a holy miracle. In the system logs, Cain's name disappears. Lucius deletes the entry. He types his own identification code. Lucius walks toward the throne. He stops. He sees the worker. Cain is gasping for a single liter of oxygen. Lucius smiles. He plants his metal boot on Cain's knuckles. He twists. Skin rips. Cain's forehead hits the stone. Lucius leans down. His breath smells of expensive wine. It smells of stolen power. Hand over your breathing permit. Lucius whispers. You do not deserve the king's heir. You are a glitch. You are a mistake. Lucius snaps his fingers. The system vibrates. A transparent barrier locks around Cain's throat. His oxygen supply drops to 0%. Vision turns black. The heroes laugh. They toast to their new saint. They feast on nectar. Cain claws at his own neck. He cannot find air. No breath enters his chest, but Cain stops clawing. He reaches into the deep cache of the world's memory. He finds the root directory. He does not pray. He does not beg. He enters a single command, signature required for miracle validation. Status: pending. Cain refuses to sign. The foundation of the temple groans. A hairline fracture appears on Lucius's golden breastplate. The theft is recorded. The audit begins. Above the altar, the sky rots purple. The sun flickers. The world's heartbeat skips. Cain feels the cold weight of the root key in his soul. It is not a weapon. It is the raw truth. Lucius preens for the cameras. He does not feel the floor shaking. He does not see the green sparks at the edge of his vision. Cain's fingers stop bleeding. The code in his eyes turns a dark, violent crimson. He looks at the golden throne. It is a fake. It is a lie, built on his broken back. He stops the maintenance. He lets the errors flow. Gravity begins to fail. A wine glass floats into the air. It shatters against a pillar. The party is over. Within the temple walls, the marble begins to sweat. Black moisture seeps from the cracks. It is the blood of the system. It is the unrefined manna that Lucius refused to process. The nobles touch the walls. Their fingers turn black. They scream. Their expensive jewelry begins to melt into their skin. The stolen magic is returning to its source. Lucius feels a sharp tug on his soul. His level 99 display blinks. A red error message covers his vision. Warning. Source of power unverified. Recalculating status. He looks at Cain. Cain is standing up. The barrier around his throat is gone. He is breathing the pure, unrefined air of the abyss. He is the only one who can stand the pressure. The world is breaking, and Kane is the architect of the collapse. He watches the mirrors fail. He watches the golden age die. He watches the fear take root in the hearts of the gods. Black oil drips from the Pantheon rafters. Thick, greasy, the liquid stains the golden floor. Scorched metal odors fill the hall. High above, a priest tries to fly. His wings turn into brittle ash. Gravity claims him. He hits the marble. His legs snap with a dry sound. No one laughs now. The nobles stare at their hands. Gray rot spreads across their skin. Stolen magic is leaking. It turns their veins into black ink. Stolen power carries a price. The system is collecting the debt. Lucius stands at the center of the chaos. Insult fuels his rage. Black cracks spiderweb across his floating mirrors. He watches his reflection twist. One eye sinks into his skull. Striking the glass with his fist, he draws blood. The fluid is not red. It is a flickering purple glitch. Physical consistency is failing. The mirrors hover unevenly. Symmetry dies in the darkness. "You!" Lucius roars. He turns toward the floor. Kane remains motionless. The transparent barrier locks his throat. Veins bulge against his neck. Purple skin shows the lack of oxygen. Storming forward, Lucius grabs Kane by the hair. He lifts the worker into the air. The golden armor on Lucius's arm glows. It burns Kane's scalp. "Fix it," Lucius hisses. His breath burns. "You planted a virus. You sabotaged my glory. Sign the validation. Restore the mana flow, or I will peel the skin from your meat. You will beg for the abyss." Kane cannot speak. His emerald eyes spin. A low hum vibrates from his skull. Lucius feels a sharp pain in his chest. His level 99 status flickers. It drops to level 95. Then level 80. Level 60 arrives with a heavy thud. The golden armor becomes a cage. Metal plates crush his shoulders. His collarbone groans under the weight. Suit servos screech in protest. They cannot support his shrinking muscles. A dry laugh escapes Lucius. He pulls a jagged dagger from his belt. This is the fang of the abyss. It does not cut. It erases matter. He drives the blade into Kane's shoulder. Kane does not scream. No air remains in his lungs. The blade hits the bone. It grinds the surface. Twisting the metal, Lucius smiles. He wants to feel the resistance. He wants to see the code leak out. He wants to destroy the error. "You think your little root key matters?" Lucius sneers. Leaning closer, he digs his thumb into the open wound. "You are a tool. Tools do not own the workshop. Tools do not have rights. If the system is broken, I will burn the foundation. I will build a new world on your corpse. Your blood will write my new law." Dragging Kane toward the back of the temple, Lucius finds the pit. The floor is missing here. Only raw entropy remains. This is the void entropy furnace. Liquid lead and lightning swirl in a vortex. The heat melts the stone stairs. Above the pit, the air screams. 1,000,000 deleted files wail in the heat. This is the garbage of creation. "Guards!" Lucius yells. 2 armored giants step forward. Their helmets melt onto their faces. Weapons spark with unstable energy. "Throw this trash into the fire," Lucius commands. "Let the furnace eat his code. If he won't sign the miracle, he can become the fuel." The guards grab Kane's broken arms. They drag him to the ledge. Heat blisters Kane's skin instantly. His hair vanishes in the glare. Lucius watches with a cruel smile. He adjusts his cape. He wants the execution to be perfect. He wants the symmetry restored. He wants the world to return to his control. One guard kicks Kane in the ribs. Kane falls. He drops into the white-hot vortex. Entropy swallows him whole. Liquid data climbs up his legs. It dissolves his boots. It eats through his trousers. Muscles begin to liquefy. The pain is a high-frequency wave. It erases his identity. He becomes noise. He becomes static. He is a fragment of a lost file. Standing at the edge, Lucius spits into the pit. Goodbye, glitch, he says. Inside the fire, Kane's eyes turn solid green. The pain is absolute. Nerves fire every signal at once. His brain is a thunderstorm of agony. Deep inside the white noise, a prompt appears. It is the only clear thing in a world of melting flesh. It is a command from the dawn of time. Critical error. Administrator, physical integrity compromised. Emergency protocol 00. The root has been touched. Kane does not reach for the edge. Reaching deeper into the fire, he grabs the white-hot core. It is a sphere of pure iron logic. He pulls. The entire world hitches. For 1 millisecond, time stops. Gravity in the temple flips. The nobles slam into the ceiling. Fine silks rip into rags. Jewelry becomes shrapnel. Pressure cuts their screams short. Cold fingers wrap around Lucius's ankle. He looks down. A hand made of burning green code reaches out of the pit. It is Kane's hand. No skin remains on the fingers. There is only the law. There is only the weight of every unpaid debt. The furnace stops screaming. A low-frequency hum begins. The audit is no longer pending. It is active. Kane's voice does not come from his mouth. It comes from the walls. It comes from the floor. It comes from the air. Lucius tries to breathe. I do not sign, the voice says. I revoke your existence. I reclaim the stolen light. Gold on Lucius's arm begins to boil. It sinks into his flesh. It fuses with his bone. He tries to pull away. The green hand holds him tight. The furnace is hungry. Lucius is the only thing left on the menu. He is the bad debt. He is the error. Logic shreds every lie he ever told. The Pantheon roof shatters. Iron chains descend from the black void. These links bear names. Fraud, theft, murder, cowardice. Every chain vibrates with finalized law. Erebus descends. The auditor is a tower of frozen lightning and jagged metal. It has no face. 10,000 eyes blink in the dark. Each eye contains a single line of red code. Audit initiated. The voice vibrates the teeth of the gods. Windows across the capital city explode. A black iron spike drops. 4 feet of cold metal. It pins the floor inches from Lucius's groin. Another follows. Then 50 more. They form a cage of reality around the saint. They lock him in the present. He is trapped in his own debt. Lucius tries to stand. Gravity denies him. His level 80 status drops to level 60. Muscles shrink inside the golden plate. The armor becomes a cage. The chest piece collapses. It crushes his ribs. A wet pop echoes. He gasps for air. The system ignores his plea. Every breath is a privilege he has not earned. He is a trespasser in his own lungs. Violation detected. The voices of Erebus roar. Stolen achievement. The siege of Malachor. Verification signature is missing. A holographic screen tears open in the air. The battle of 3 years ago plays for the world. Lucius hides in a cellar. He trembles. He clutches a bottle of stolen wine. Kane stands in the front. Kane hand-codes the structural integrity of the fortress walls. Kane kills the Demon King. He deletes its heart with a single keystroke. Lucius only steps forward at the end. He takes the final blow for the cameras. The lie dies. The pixels of his glory dissolve. Verdict. Fraud. Erebus reaches out an iron chain. It hooks into Lucius's shoulder. It does not pull the armor. It pulls the strength from his marrow. Lucius shrieks. His right arm withers. Gray skin clings to brittle bone. The golden sword falls from his useless grip. It clatters on the stone. The weapon has no meaning now. Wait, Lucius screams. He looks at the other heroes. Help me. I am your leader. I gave you your titles. The heroes look at Lucius. They look at the iron spikes. Their own names flicker on the auditor's screen. They see the debt they owe. Green fire burns in Kane's eyes. The heroes fear the dark. They fear the truth. Targeting the Silver Knight, Kane initiates the purge. Instantly, the knight's muscles wither. Down he falls, crushed by his own plate. His divine strength returns to the system. He is a child in heavy metal. He cannot breathe. He cannot move. The high priestess tries to run. Cain targets her next. Uninstall. Eternal youth. Her skin wrinkles in seconds. Teeth rot and fall. Her golden hair turns into white dust. She becomes a shivering old woman. She screams without a voice. Blindness claims her eyes. She is a ghost of her own vanity. The general reaches for his belt. Cain deletes his strategic insight. Total brain fog follows. The general drools onto his medals. He forgets his name. He forgets how to speak. One by one, Cain strips their stolen attributes. He reallocates their levels to the global maintenance fund. The heroes are average citizens with empty pockets. They are the background characters now. They kick Lucius through the bars of his cage. They spit on his retreating divinity. They want to survive. They offer Lucius as a sacrifice to the auditor. They tear the metals from his chest. They distance themselves from the plague. They are rats leaving a sinking ship. Cain watches. He does not smile. He walks toward the cage. Every step melts the gold on Lucius's body. Root access turns the temple into a forge. Molten metal odors fill the air. The floor glows red under Cain's feet. Stone turns into lava. "You called me a glitch," Cain says. His voice is a vibration. 12 mirrors floating behind Lucius shatter. Glass shards fly back. They embed themselves in Lucius's face. One shard slices through his left nostril. Another pins his ear to his skull. The blood is purple. Corrupted data leaks from the wounds. It is the waste he refused to clean. "The mirrors are gone," Cain whispers. "There is no symmetry left. Only the bill remains. And the price is your life." Lucius looks into the emerald void of Cain's eyes. He sees the reality. He was a parasite. The host has stopped feeding. He is hungry. He is weak. He is a 0-0. The auditor raises a massive iron hammer. This is finalized law. Names of every worker Lucius killed cover the surface. It carries the weight of every hour Cain spent in the furnace. It carries 1,000,000,000 stolen dreams. This is the final sentence. Total debt calculated. Lucius feels his heart stop. Not because of magic. The system has revoked his right to a heartbeat. It is no longer a biological function. It is a service he cannot afford. Every pulse costs level points. He has 0 points left. He is bankrupt. His heart sits cold and still in his chest. "I will give it back," Lucius begs. He claws at the floor. Fingernails snap off against the stone. "I will give you the gold. Just let me breathe." Cain leans down. He presses his glowing thumb against Lucius's forehead. He enters the final command. Green code burns through Lucius's skin. It enters his brain. It rewrites his history. It deletes his name from the world's memory. This is a total format. "Transaction denied," Cain says. "Insufficient balance. Access to life is revoked. Permanent logout starting." The iron hammer falls. It strikes the air above Lucius. The shockwave strips the gold from the walls. It strips the lies from the world. White noise dissolves the temple. The audit is over. The execution starts. Cain turns his back on the screaming saint. He walks toward the center of the white void. The root key is glowing. It is hungry for a new world. A world without thieves. A world where the builders hold the power. A world of cold logic. The iron hammer falls. Impact erases the conceptual foundation of Lucius. White light blinds the hall. This is the sterile glare of a blank screen, shattering every window in the sector. A digital shriek erupts. Eardrums burst. Blood leaks from the ears of the nobles. Lucius's skull does not break. It vanishes. The auditor deletes the coordinate where his head exists, falling through the layers of reality. Lucius loses his rights. Level 05. Metabolic privileges revoked. Blood stops flowing. Stagnant purple ink fills his veins. Level 03. Nervous system unauthorized hardware. Every nerve ending burns. Raw electricity short-circuits his soul. Level 02. Skeletal integrity Reclaimed. Bones turn into soft cartilage. Level 01. Opacity drops to 10%. He becomes a flickering ghost. Through his transparent skin, internal organs show. They are rotting. They are black data fragments. Stolen power cannot sustain life. It only masks the decay. The black water of the sewer catches his ruin. Thick and greasy, the mana waste flows. This toxic sludge is Kane's old office. Lucius tries to stand. His legs fail. He is a sack of meat. He is a pile of wet organs, trapped in a ruined gold suit. The gold armor is no longer a garment. Intense heat from the audit has fused the metal to his pores. It seals his mouth shut. It flows into his eye sockets. He is a statue of his own greed. Clawing at his throat, he finds only fleshy stumps. His fingers are gone. The auditor has downgraded his resolution. He is a low-quality sketch. He has no textures. He has no shading. He is a glitch in the dark. He is the noise that the world wants to forget. Sloshing sounds echo off the damp walls. Rusted wrenches in hand. The maintenance workers approach. Gray rags cover their lean frames. These background characters stare at the golden rat. Lucius once stepped on their hands for sport. Now, they watch his agony. They smell his fear. They see the broken god. Is this the saint? One worker asks. His voice is gravel. A bug in the system, another replies. Lucius opens his mouth to beg. High-frequency static screams out. The system has flagged his speech as spam. He is a nuisance. He is an error message. He is the noise in the machine. A worker leans down. From a rusted bucket, acidic waste pours onto Lucius's head. The liquid eats through the gold. It burns the transparent skin. Lucius whimpers. The sound is a low-frequency hum. It is the pulse of a failing hard drive. He crawls toward a piece of moldy bread. A rat bites his stump. The rat is level 10. Lucius is level 0. The rat is the predator. Lucius is the prey. Puddles of filth show his reflection. The symmetry is dead. He is a lopsided tragedy. He is a bug in a system that has finally been patched. The workers laugh. They kick him back into the black water. They walk away. Lucius is alone in the cold. He is a deleted file in a forgotten folder. Back in the Pantheon, Kane stands before the remaining heroes. They tremble. They offer gold. They offer service. Kane ignores the gestures. He opens the global task manager, initiating secondary audit. Kane's fingers move through the air. He targets the Lord of Flames. Uninstall, heat resistance. The Lord's own aura burns his skin. He shrieks as his body turns to charcoal. Kane targets the Archmage of the North. Uninstall, infinite mana well. Her spell circles shatter. The sudden mana vacuum collapses her lungs. She gasps for air that is no longer there. Kane targets the Sword Saint of the West. Uninstall. Absolute precision. The Saint's sword becomes heavy. He cuts his own leg off with a clumsy swing. One by one, Kane strips their stolen attributes. He reallocates their levels to the Global Maintenance Fund. The heroes are no longer heroes. They are average citizens with empty pockets. They are the background characters now. Kane walks to the throne of logic. This is a chair of black iron. It does not shine. It does not glow. It simply is. It is the physical center of the world. It is the root of all law. Kane sits. Weight hits the seat. The world stops shaking. The air grows sweet. Gravity stabilizes. Leaks in reality seal shut. Molecules realign. Data packets find their destination. A screen appears before Kane. It is the world's control panel. 1,000,000,000 requests for miracles blink. Kings ask for rain. Queens ask for eternal youth. Soldiers ask for invincibility. They want shortcuts. They want lies. They want the world to pay for their desires. Kane closes his eyes. He swipes his hand across the air. All requests denied. Global miracle lock enabled. Logic consistency 100%. The Pantheon rebuilds itself. The gold is gone. The marble is gone. Gray steel forms the new walls. There are no mirrors. There are no statues of gods. The temple is a workshop. It is a machine. It is a functional engine for existence. Efficiency is the new prayer. Logic is the new God. Cain looks into the camera. He looks through the screen. He looks at the heart of the world. The maintenance is over, Cain says. His voice vibrates every pane of glass in the sector. From now on, you pay for what you build. No more miracles. No more thieves. No more stolen light. The world will be earned. Every breath has a cost. Every action has a trace. He leans back. The green code in his eyes slows down. It settles into a steady rhythm. The world is finally quiet. The world is finally fair. Outside, in the sewer, Lucius screams into the mud. No one hears him. He is a ghost in the machine. He is the discarded residue of an audit. He is the bad debt that was finally cleared. He is the shadow of a lie. Cain watches the last of the gold dust settle. He does not smile. He does not celebrate. He simply begins the next audit. He has a world to fix. He has a billion lines of code to rewrite. He has work to do. The screen flickers. The status is clear. World status. Stable. Administrator. Cain. The light fades. The story ends. The logic remains.
Watching Lucius realize that his own heartbeat was a premium service he could no longer afford is the most satisfying digital execution I've ever witnessed. If you had root access to a world that treated you like a glitch, would you balance the scales fairly like Cain? Or would you burn the whole server down out of spite? Just between us, the original draft had Lucius surviving as a low-level janitor. But I realized the narrative and my own petty heart demanded he lose his very physical resolution and end up as a literal smear in the dark.